A very good morning, students. Today we are going to discuss the next part of speech, prepositions. What is a preposition? How do we use different prepositions in different sentences or contexts? Dear students, today we are going to discuss these prepositions one by one in detail. First of all, I have taken a few basic prepositions related with transportation, location and time. I have divided the uses of these four basic prepositions in, on, at and by. Firstly, I have taken at, on, in and by, and I have divided their uses between ट्रांसपोर्टेशन, लोकेशन एंड टाइम. अगर आप इस चार्ट को ध्यान से देखेंगे तो आपको प्रीपोजिशन से रिलेटेड, इन बेसिक प्रीपोजिशन से रिलेटेड यूसेज में कभी कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं होगी. आइए, ट्रांसपोर्टेशन मीन्स ट्रांसपोर्टेशन, व्हीकल्स. इन केस ऑफ ट्रांसपोर्टेशन, वेयर डू वी यूज एट, ऑन, इन और बाय? फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, एट. At is not used in case of transportation. Of course, we use at the stations of transportations. For example, because that is a point of place, at the railway station, at the bus stand, at the airport, like this. But we do not use at in case of transportation. Next is location. In case of location, we use at for a specific point of place. A specific point of place, we use at. For example, at home. Where are you? You are welcome. I am at home. It is a specific point of place. At Hansi Gate. Where are you waiting for me? I am standing at Hansi Gate presently. Or I am waiting for you at Hansi Gate. This is a particular specific point of place. Or if an address is given with a house number, with a flat number, for example, I reside at 44 sector 13 and then name of the city. If you want to use a preposition before a name of a village or a small place or a town, then we use at. For example, I live at the name of a village or name of a town. But if it is a big city, then we do not use at. Then we shall use in instead of at. Now, let us take the example of time. In case of time, where do we use at? At is used for a specific point of time. If the specific time is given, for example, it is given in hours and minutes or at a particular dash o'clock. For example, at 8:15 a.m., 8:15 p.m. or at 7 o'clock. Next, at dawn, at night, at noon. These are also known as specific point of time. We use at for festivals and other specific points of time. For example, at Christmas, at Holi, at Diwali or at the weekend. In this way, in case of time, we use at in such contexts. Next is, where do we use on? On. In case of on, if I talk about transportation, there is a clear-cut difference. If the vehicles are of large size or if the vehicles are public vehicles, not personal or private. For example, on the bus, on the train, on the ship, on the plane. इसको आप कुछ इस तरीके से सीख सकते हैं. The vehicles having a large floor, having 2 rows or 3 rows of seats with a gallery between them, then those are known as public vehicles, because the passengers on those vehicles are unknown to each other, usually unknown to each other. In this way, we shall use on for large or public vehicles, bus, train, ship, plane, boat, etc. Next is, on is used when you are on the two-wheelers. For example, bike, scooter, bicycle. I am on my bike. In this way, we use on in case of transportation for large or public vehicles, large sized vehicles, or two-wheelers. In case of location, we use on for a surface. When we are on a specific surface, then we use on. For position, for example, this is a book and this is a pen. Where is the pen? The pen is on the book, because the upper surface of this book and the lower surface of this pen are in touch with each other. In this way, when something is on the surface of something, then we use on in a position. But what is the difference between on and onto? A very much clear-cut difference is there. If I want to put this thing onto this floor, onto this surface. For example, if the direction is there, if movement is there, I am placing this pen on this book. Now there was a direction, there was a movement, and on this floor. Now this is stationary and it is not moving. Now the pen is on the book. The book is on the table. Where is the book? The book is on the table. In this way, we use on and onto in case of location, in case of a specific surface. For example, I am standing on the floor of this room. This is a floor, this is a surface. Next is, on is used when the address is given without number. For example, he lives on the main road. He lives on the highway. His house is situated, or his shop is situated on the highway. In this way, on the highway, on the main road, we use on. Now, in case of time, where do we use on? It is very important. Pay attention to it. There are specific phrases of time where we usually use on. For example, on days, on dates. अगर इस प्रकार से आपको डेज दिए हुए हैं, on Monday, on Tuesday, on Sunday, like this. Dates दी हुई हैं on 15th of August. When did India get freedom? India got freedom on 15th of August. और इसको हम इस प्रकार से भी लिख सकते हैं on August 15 of 1947. Next is on holiday, on birthday. For example, all the words, most of the words having day as a suffix, we use on before them. On holiday, on birthday. When are you coming to my home? I shall come to your home on your birthday. Or let us celebrate a party on your birthday. Next is, on is used when it is followed by a day and then morning, evening, etc. For example, see you on Monday morning. लेकिन अगर यहाँ डे ना हो, केवल मॉर्निंग इवनिंग हो, तो फिर हम on का यूज नहीं करेंगे. Then we shall use in instead of on. But if it is preceded by a day, on Sunday morning, then we shall use on. Next is, now what is a preposition? Preposition means it is a word. It is used before a noun or pronoun. It tells the relation between subject and object. Or between the noun and pronouns and other words of the sentence. For example, this is a bag. Now, there are a few books in this bag. Where are the books? In this bag. Now, in, the preposition in tells the relation between the bag and the books. What is the relation between the bag and the books? The books are in the bag, in. In this way, a preposition tells the relation between a subject and object, or between noun and pronouns and other words of the sentence. Next is, it tells the relation of noun or pronoun with each other and to other words of the sentence. And I can say that a preposition has a subject and an object. Without object, the preposition is used before the object or subject, before the noun or pronoun. It has an object in every sentence. For example, the book is on. Can I put a full stop here? No, because this is not complete sentence. This is not a sentence. The book is on. I have to insert an object after this preposition. For example, the book is on the table. A preposition can be used at the end of the sentence, in the middle of the sentence, and sometimes in the beginning of the sentence. Next preposition is in and by. Where do we use in and by in case of transportation, location, and time? As far as preposition in is concerned, in is used in case of transportation for small and private vehicles. For example, car, taxi, jeep. These are private vehicles, not public, and these are small sized vehicles. Where are you? I am in my car. Where are you? I am in my taxi. आप कह सकते हैं कि सर टैक्सी तो प्राइवेट व्हीकल नहीं होता. It becomes a private vehicle when we pay for it. उस पर्टिकुलर टाइम पीरियड के लिए, उस पर्टिकुलर जर्नी के लिए a taxi becomes a private vehicle. Car, taxi and jeep. We use in, not on. On is used for large sized and public vehicles. Next is, in case of location, where do we use in? For example, there is a box. Where is the pen? The pen is in the box. क्या आप इसे देख पा रहे हैं? No. Why? Because it has a length, a breadth and height. Means it has some volume. It has volume. अगर वॉल्यूम वाले जितने भी हमारे बॉक्सेस हैं, रूम्स हैं, हाउसेस हैं, उसके एक अंदर कोई चीज अगर स्टेशनरी पोजीशन में है तो हम कहेंगे इन. वेयर इज द मार्कर? द मार्कर इज इन द बॉक्स. अब यहां पर हमें यह जानना भी जरूरी है कि इन और इनटू में क्या डिफरेंस है. व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस बिटवीन इन एंड इनटू? इफ समथिंग इज इन अ मोमेंट, इन अ डायरेक्शन, अगर मैं यहां से कुछ डाल रहा हूं इसमें, एंड द प्रोसेस ऑफ पुटिंग समथिंग इन दिस बॉक्स इज in continuation, then I can say put this pen into the box. Now the pen is in the box. In the same way, when a frog jumps into a river and I am looking at the frog, I look that the frog is jumping into the river. And now where is the frog? Now the frog is in the river. In this way we use in and into in different contexts. Now, in is used for big cities and for a smaller address in a bigger address. For example, where do you live? I live in Delhi. I live in Chennai. I live in Mumbai. अगर आपको किसी छोटे शहर के बीच में किसी कॉलोनी, किसी पॉइंट ऑफ प्लेस की बात दे रखी है, तो आप मतलब आप किसी एक बड़े एरिया में एक छोटे से कॉलोनी में, एक छोटे से एरिया में, एक छोटे से स्ट्रीट में रहते हैं, तो आप इस छोटे वाले एरिया के लिए एट का यूज करेंगे, और ये छोटे वाला एरिया चूंकि इस बड़े वाले एरिया के अंदर है, इसके लिए इन का यूज करेंगे। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, आई लिव एट लक्ष्मी नगर इन भिवानी। हालांकि भिवानी इज नॉट ए बिग सिटी। अगर हमें केवल इसको हटा दें हम यहां से, तो हम इसको लिखेंगे आई लिव एट भिवानी। बट लक्ष्मी नगर भिवानी में कहां है, उसके लिए हम लक्ष्मी नगर से पहले एट और भिवानी से पहले इन का यूज करेंगे। आई लिव एट लक्ष्मी नगर इन भिवानी। नाउ इन केस ऑफ टाइम, वेयर डू वी यूज इन? इन यूज इज यूज्ड फॉर लॉन्गर टाइम। हमने पहले एट यूज किया था फॉर शॉर्टर टाइम्स। नाउ वी शैल यूज इन फॉर लॉन्गर टाइम्स। वी शैल यूज इन फॉर मंथ्स, नेम ऑफ मंथ्स। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, इन अगस्त, where did India get freedom? India got freedom in the month of August or in August. Year, because this is a longer time, in 1947. Season, in winter, in spring, in summer, or part of a day, means in the morning or in the evening. परंतु मैंने पहले आपको यह भी बताया था कि अगर मॉर्निंग से पहले यहां पर डे हो, तो फिर हम ऑन मंडे मॉर्निंग यूज करेंगे इंस्टेड ऑफ इन। केवल मॉर्निंग हो, पार्ट ऑफ डे हो, तो हम इन द मॉर्निंग कहेंगे। इस प्रकार से नेक्स्ट हमारा जो प्रीपोजिशन है दैट इज बाय। बाय को हम इन केस ऑफ ट्रांसपोर्टेशन कहां यूज करेंगे? देखिए, व्हेन योर जर्नी बाय ए प्राइवेट और ए पब्लिक व्हीकल इज येट टू बिगिन, अभी तक शुरू नहीं हुई है आपकी जर्नी, and somebody asks you, how will you get there? How will you go there? Or how do you go to school daily? I go to school daily by my car. Or tomorrow I shall go to Delhi by train. In this way, if your journey is yet to begin or journey has been completed. For example, आपके घर कोई रिलेटिव आते हैं, आप उनसे पूछते हो, how did you come here? How did you get here? He can say, I came here by a train, by bus, by plane. In this way we use in case of transportation by. Next is, where do we use by in case of location? In case of location, by is used in the context of closeness, close to or near. In case of closeness and nearness. For example, my house is by a temple or by the temple, or there is a temple by my house, close to my house, near my house. In case of time, where do we use by? By is used for a particular time mentioned, end of the time, or not later than the mentioned time in the sentence. For example, मैं किसी काम को इस टाइम तक पूरा कर लूंगा. For example, by she will reach here by 9 a.m. I will complete this work by 2 p.m. and not later than that. In this way, we use at, on, in and by in different contexts in case of transportation, location and time. Dear students, next preposition is since, for, between, among and beside, besides. These prepositions usually confuse the students where to use since and when to use for. In the same way, difference between the usage of between and among and difference between the usage of beside and besides. It's very easy. In case of since or for, first of all, मान लीजिए मैंने अपना टीचिंग का कार्य 2005 से शुरू किया, या किसी ने भी कोई भी काम 2005 में स्टार्ट किया और 2010 तक किया, तो कब शुरू किया? 2005 में. दिस इज ए पर्टिकुलर स्पेसिफिक पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम. कब तक किया? 2010 तक. दिस इज ऑल्सो ए स्पेसिफिक पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम. बट 2005 से 2010 तक का जो पीरियड है वो कितना हो गया? 5 years. दिस इज 5 years पीरियड. ये जो 5 years हुआ ये पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम नहीं है. दिस इज पीरियड ऑफ टाइम, लेंथ ऑफ टाइम, ड्यूरेशन ऑफ टाइम. आपको याद रखना है, अगर पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम हो तो हम सिंस का यूज करेंगे, एंड इन केस ऑफ पीरियड ऑफ टाइम वी शैल यूज फॉर. मान लीजिए मैंने ये लेसन सुबह 10 बजे शुरू किया. आई स्टार्टेड माई लेसन एट 10 AM एंड फिनिश्ड इट एट 12 noon. सिंस 10 AM यूज होगा. पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम है 10 AM, स्पेसिफिक पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम. 12 noon पे खत्म हुआ. दिस इज ऑल्सो ए पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम. बट वॉट इज द लेंथ ऑफ टाइम? वॉट इज द पीरियड ऑफ टाइम? दिस इज 10 to 12 means 2 hours. For this period of time we shall use for instead of since. In this way it is very much clear that we shall use since for a specific point of time and we shall use for a period of time. इसके कुछ एग्जाम्पल्स आप ले सकते हैं. since 1985, since January, since 7 AM, since morning, it has been raining outside since morning. पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम के केस में हम since यूज करेंगे. पीरियड ऑफ टाइम के केस में हम for यूज करेंगे. for 2 years, for 10 months, for 8 days, for 5 months, for 10 minutes. In this way we use for a period of time in case of prepositions. Now there are 2 examples. He has been working since morning. Because morning is a point of time. कब से कर रहा है? Since morning. तो since का यूज करेंगे. बट यहां पे लिखा हुआ है 40 minutes. I have been teaching dash 40 minutes. 40 minutes is not a point of time. It is a period of time. So we shall use for 40 minutes. Next is between and among. We use between. Between का मतलब होता है बीच में. Among का मतलब भी बीच में ही होता है. लेकिन what is the difference between their uses? Between is used when we talk about 2 persons or things in a sentence. Among is used when we talk about more than 2 persons or things in a sentence. For example, he sat dash Ram and Mohan. There are 2 persons, Ram and Mohan. And where did he sit? He sat between Ram and Mohan. यहां राम है, यहां मोहन है, तो ही जो है यहां पे बैठा बीच में इनके. बिटवीन, क्योंकि ये 2 पर्सन थे. बिटवीन 2 persons और 2 things, तब हम कहेंगे बिटवीन. बिटवीन का यूज हम 2 से ज्यादा पर्सन्स और थिंग्स के लिए भी कर सकते हैं, परंतु एक शर्त यह है कि तब हमें उस नंबर का डेफिनेट पता हो. नंबर डेफिनेट होना चाहिए, तब हम कह सकते हैं. लेकिन यूजुअली इट इज यूज्ड फॉर 2 persons or things. In case of among, among is used for more than 2 persons or things. Let us try to understand the difference between and among. अब हम 2 की बात कर रहे हैं, between और among. तो let us try to understand the difference between and among. Distribute the sweets among the students. अब एक स्कूल में कोई आता है और वो स्वीट्स डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करने के लिए कहता है. He doesn't know the number of students in the school. He doesn't know the definite number of the students. And he says, he declares, distribute the sweets among the students. बहुत सारे हैं, more than 2 हैं, and number is not definite. We shall say, distribute the sweets among the students. And now we shall discuss the difference between beside and besides. क्या difference है? Spelling wise केवल s का डिफरेंस है, बट these two prepositions have a huge difference in their uses. For example, beside. Beside means near, close to. He lives beside the stream. Where does he live? He lives beside the stream. He lives beside the temple. He lives beside the high school. In this way, we use beside to show nearness or closeness of things. Next is besides. Besides means in addition to. For example, I have a marker and a pencil. दो चीजें हैं. Have you a marker or a pencil? Oh, besides a marker, I have a pencil. इसके साथ साथ मेरे पास पेंसिल भी है. दोनों चीजें हैं. Besides this, I have that also. In this way, we can say in addition to. When we mean in addition to, we use besides. For example, besides a pen, I have a pencil. Or besides something, besides being fined, he was sentenced to jail. किसी ने कोई क्राइम किया, उसको क्या पनिशमेंट हुई? किसी ने पूछा, क्या उसको फाइन हुआ या फिर जेल हुई? Oh, besides being fined, he was sentenced to jail. उसे जुर्माने के साथ साथ सजा भी हुई, जेल की सजा भी हुई. तो यहां हम इन एडिशन टू के लिए बिसाइड्स का यूज करेंगे और नियरनेस और क्लोजनेस के लिए हम बिसाइड का यूज करेंगे. नेक्स्ट प्रपोजिशन टिल, अनटिल. टिल एंड अनटिल आर यूज्ड फॉर टाइम. टिल को हम किसी समय तक किसी काम के करने के लिए जब कहा जाता है तब हम टिल का यूज किया करते हैं. और यदि नेगेटिव सेंस में हम कहें कि जब तक ऐसा ना हो तब तक आपको ये काम नहीं करना है, तब हम अनटिल का यूज करते हैं. समटाइम्स टिल एंड अनटिल आर यूज्ड अल्टरनेटिवली. वी कैन यूज टिल आइदर अनटिल इन ए सेम सेंटेंस, बट अनटिल डिनोट्स ए नेगेटिव रेफरेंस while till denotes a positive reference. For example, till means up to that time. For example, the meeting will continue till 7 p.m. कब तक चलेगी मीटिंग? 7 p.m. तक. Next, until means up to the point of time. You have not to do this. For example, इसका जो रेफरेंस है वो नेगेटिव होता है लेकिन मीनिंग पॉजिटिव ही होता है. टिल इज मोर फॉर्मल देन अनटिल. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, वी वेटेड टिल मिडनाइट. कब तक वेट किया? पॉजिटिव सेंस दे रहा है, टिल मिडनाइट. बट वेट हियर अनटिल आई रिटर्न. यहां पर अनटिल के अंदर एक नेगेटिव रेफरेंस है. हम कह सकते हैं कि जब तक मैं ना आऊं तब तक इंतजार करना है, नॉट आफ्टर दैट. उसके बाद नहीं. आप कह सकते हो द मीटिंग विल कंटिन्यू टिल 7 p.m. बट नॉट आफ्टर दैट. 7 बजे के बाद नहीं कंटिन्यू रहेगी मीटिंग. यहां पर नेगेटिव रेफरेंस है, यहां पॉजिटिव रेफरेंस है. दिस इज द ओनली डिफरेंस बिटवीन टिल एंड अनटिल एंड देयर यूसेज. नेक्स्ट इज बाय एंड विद. In case of by and with, the preposition by is used before the agent or doer of action. Usually we use by in passive form of sentences. For example, the story was written by Meera. By whom? By Meera. Next is tool or instrument. We never use by in case of tools or instruments. For example, if I want to cut something, what do we use? We use a knife, we use a scissors. In this way, how do we unscrew a screw? We use a screwdriver. How do we cut a wire? We use a pliers. In this way, when we use a tool or instrument to do an action, then we use with before that tool, not by. We can't say I cut the wire by pliers or I cut something by a knife. This is wrong method to say. We use with instruments and tools. Usually इस तरीके का एक सेंटेंस अवश्य पूछा जाता है. He cut the rope with a knife because knife is a tool. He cut the rope with a knife. Next is from and of. From and of in case of diseases. This type of question is frequently asked in examinations. From and of. Pay attention. If you find the verb suffer, then use from. Suffer from a disease. If someone dies due to that disease, then write die of disease. Suffer from a disease and die of a disease. For example, he is suffering from cancer. This is a disease. He is suffering from cancer. But if somebody dies due to a disease, then I say he died of cancer. He died from cancer नहीं लिखेंगे. He died of cancer. कई बार बच्चे prepositions का यूज करते समय हिंदी टू इंग्लिश ट्रांसलेशन करने की कोशिश करते हैं और ऐसा करते ही उनके प्रीपोजिशन गलत हो जाती है. कैसे? उसकी मौत कैंसर से हुई. अगर हम इसको इंग्लिश में ट्रांसलेट कहें तो से तो फ्रॉम से होता है. फ्रॉम मीन्स से, जैसा कि हमने सुना है, देखा है. लेकिन कैंसर से अगर हम इस हिंदी को इंग्लिश में ट्रांसलेट करते हुए प्रीपोजिशन का यूज करेंगे तो बच्चे यहां पर फ्रॉम का यूज कर सकते हैं. इसलिए प्रीपोजिशन गलत हो जाएगी. प्रीपोजिशन का हर सेंटेंस हिंदी टू इंग्लिश ट्रांसलेट करके नहीं हो सकता. सो अवॉइड दिस टाइप ऑफ ट्रांसलेशन फ्रॉम हिंदी टू इंग्लिश. देयर आर सम फिक्स्ड प्रीपोजिशंस एंड देयर आर सर्टेन रूल्स regarding these prepositions. Now he died of cancer. अगर यहां हम die की बात करते हैं तो of आएगा, suffer की बात करते हैं तो from आएगा. Next is sold by at the rate of. A very well known phrase. We usually buy things and all the articles are sold by a unit. There is a unit. Some things are sold by kilo, some things are sold by grams, some things are sold by liter, some things are sold by meter. There are certain units for selling things. For example, cloth is sold by the meter. The meter. Unit measurement के लिए या rate के लिए हम the का use करेंगे. For example, the World Bank charges interest at the rate of. This is a phrase, at the rate of 5% per annum. This is a phrase and this is the part of this sentence. At the rate of. At the rate of. अगर आपको इस तरीके की प्रैक्टिस आप करेंगे तो कभी भी preposition से रिलेटेड इस सेंटेंस में आपसे गलती नहीं होगी. Sold by the unit और at the rate of, आगे हम रेट बता देंगे. Next is for, from and to. These prepositions are also used for time, for duration of time or during something, during an action. For example, I stayed there for 10 days. This is a duration. Period of time. We use for 10 days. I stayed there from 1st August to 10th of August. इस प्रकार से अगर हमें उस पीरियड को की डेट्स पता हैं, बिगनिंग और एंडिंग फिनिशिंग पॉइंट्स पता हैं, तो हम फ्रॉम और टू से उसको लिखेंगे. हम लिखेंगे I stayed there from 1st August to 10th August.